back to yet another edition of 5 Minutes at the Frat House with Frat House Mike and Sidekick. And lo and behold, here we are coming to you on the first Thursday in October. Can you believe it? For first Thursday in October already? Hey, baseball season just concluded yesterday, the last game of the regular season. And so here we are, we're going into the fall postseason now in baseball. But before we get into baseball, let's go over and take a look at what happened last week, over in NASCAR. We had Chase Week 3, the third race of the Chase down at the Monster Mile in Dover. And, hey, there's Brad Keselowski taking the checker and getting his 5th win of the season, his 2nd in the Chase. Who'd have thought this one, huh?
No,
and that just propelled him to the top of the leaderboard for the Chase. All right, kind of looking a little bit like Tony Stewart last year. I mean, there's some shades of that, taking the first couple of races early on in the Chase.
No, Brad's looking really good in the Chase so far.
I'm a little bit surprised. Others who came in the top 5 down at Dover included, how about that one? Jeff Gordon came in 2nd. Mark Martin came in 3rd. Jimmy Johnson gets another top 5. Helps himself out there. Coming in 4th. And how about Carl Edwards coming in 5th?
Yeah, where's Cousin Carl been all season?
Really. Honestly. And so what's the Chase leaderboard looking like right now at this point? Well, there's Brad Keselowski taking over the number 1 spot.
Yep.
But he's just 5 points ahead of Jimmy Johnson, just 16 points ahead of Denny Hamlin. Dale Jr. continues to hold on to the number 7 spot.
And here's a big surprise. Here's a big surprise. Big mover last week. Clint Boyer.
Yes, he was. He moved up
2
to 4th.
spots.
Moved up to 4th. Yep. Yeah, that was a good move on his part. So, we're going into week 4 of the Chase. And that means that we're going to have coverage coming up on Sunday, 1 o'clock on ESPN. And this week, we're going over to Talladega Superspeedway.
Oh, the biggest one of the biggest crap shoots in NASCAR.
And that means, if I'm not mistaken, we've got restrictor plate racing, yes?
Yes.
And that kind of changes our fantasy strategy.
Yes.
So take us from there, will you, Sidekick?
Oh, yeah. Restrictor plate racing, the big one.
I don't know if we're going to hear that, though. They're more like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But, the big one. Oh, now, I'm going to go through some drivers to watch this week on, but Lady Luck may ruin it for you. You may see 1, 2, all your roster involved in a big one. Well, so.
Just wipe me out now. Wipe me out now.
Exactly. So, drivers you want to watch for this week at Talladega. I just brought him up. Clint Boyer. Yeah. He's won the last 2 Chase races at Talladega. And price isn't too bad either.
Yes, he's not.
Jeff Burton. He's affordable. He's good on plate tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Gordon. Brad Keselowski. I mean, the guy's got momentum right now. Mm-hmm. He's been fairly decent at Talladega in his career. And then another low-end guy, I'm going to throw in Kurt Busch.
All right. Kurt Busch, I'll keep that one in mind. That one I might have to look at. All right, let's go take a look at a little more motorsports yet before we move out of that, and that's NHRA, and the countdown to the championship is still going on. We had our 3rd race of 6 this past weekend out in your country, out there in St. Louis.
Out at Gateway.
And so what do the current standings look like at this point right now? Well, there really were no changes whatsoever in all of the different categories, with the exception of really Antron Brown now holds the top spot. Last week he was tied. This week, in fact, he's got complete control of the number 1 spot in the top fuel dragster category. He's up there by himself, 21 points ahead of Spencer Massey. In the funny car division, Ron Capps maintains his lead at number 1 now, 30 points ahead of Jack Beckman, and now he's 99 points ahead of John Force Racing's Mike Neff. Finally, in the Pro Stock division, Alan Johnson, now beginning to put some distance ahead of himself and the rest of the competition. He now is still holding on to that number 1 spot. He's now 109 points ahead of Jason Line. And NHRA changes venues one more time yet again. We're going into our 4th race this week, just up the road from here at the Frat House up at Maple Grove Raceway. And we're kind of hoping that maybe we might be able to get up there to some of the qualifying on Saturday, so you can bet that we're going to be bringing you some of the results from that next week. How about we go take a look at Major League Baseball, because that just concluded yesterday, huh?
Yep.
Major
A lot
League
of
Baseball.
activity today.
Yeah, it really.
A lot of activity.
I'm frankly surprised, but that it came this quickly. But there we go. Major League Baseball, the regular season has concluded, and so what that means is we start the postseason tomorrow night with that wonderful revamped one-game wildcard play-in format tomorrow night. Sidekick, won't that be exciting? Buckle your seatbelts, fans, because I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a couple of fan bases out there after tomorrow that are going to be pissed off. Guaranteed. It's going to happen.
What it is.
All
Yeah,
right.
sorry about that, Atlanta.
All right, but let's go take a look at. But let's go take a look at how the leagues broke down in the end. Listen, in the American League, the Yankees finally overcame the Baltimore Orioles, but it took the last game. It took last night to actually get that secured. So they win the East and they're in. No surprise, the Tigers became the only representative out of the Central. And how about this one? I think the most amazing story right now in Major League Baseball has to be the Oakland A's, who absolutely erased a 5-game deficit from 9 days ago to overcome the Texas Rangers and win the West. The Texas Rangers ran that division all season long. I couldn't believe what the Oakland A's did, and I got to tell you, hats off to them. That was terrific. So the playoffs begin tomorrow evening with the wild card, and what that means is we've got the Baltimore Orioles traveling to the Texas Rangers to play that one game at 8:30 on TBS, and the winner of that will host the New York Yankees on Sunday.
And won't that be something when the Orioles win?
I'm certainly hoping that's the case. Let's go O's. In the meantime, because I'd love to see the O's play the Yankees anyhow. In the meantime, the Oakland A's will travel to Detroit on Saturday for the first game of the ALDS. How did things end up over there in the National League? No real surprises here. The Nationals prevailed as the best team in Major League Baseball in the East. The Cincinnati Reds represent the Central, and they had that pretty much locked up, I would say, probably in around August. And the San Francisco Giants showed the Dodgers that, just throwing a lot of money around doesn't always work. So the playoffs begin tomorrow evening with that one game. Wild card, and the wild card Cardinals will travel to Atlanta to play that one game at 5 o'clock on TBS, and the winner of that will host the Washington Nationals on Sunday. In the meantime, the Reds are traveling right now to San Francisco to start their NLDS series against the San Francisco Giants, and that'll start on Saturday. All right? Now, I got to ask, give me your unbiased, as much as you possibly can, unbiased opinion, okay? About this matchup tomorrow night. Cardinals Braves tomorrow. Number one, who do you think wins?
Cardinals.
And number two, if they don't, are you going to be pissed off?
No, I won't be pissed off.
Okay, why?
I don't.
Because Atlanta would have gotten there anyhow under the old format?
No. I just if it's a. I don't get all that caught up in the whole, oh man, my team didn't make it, we lost, blah, blah,
Yeah, okay.
If we go in, I'm going to say we win. If we lose, okay, we lost.
Yeah. All right.
Now, if I see Atlanta bow out the next round, I might be a little bit like, oh man, really,
I mean, if
sometimes
they lose by 1 run tomorrow night, 1 run, okay, they lose. You're not going to be sitting back going, damn it all, if this weren't a 3-game series, really?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on record since they announced this whole thing that I think the one game.
Just trying to create something here, folks.
I know. Well, no, but I honestly,
You have to ask me nicely.
I've been on record since they announced this whole wild card format that I thought it was ludicrous. I mean, I'd rather use other words, but we're a family show. But nothing in baseball to me says one game.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing.
I agree.
So we lose.
All right.
Yeah.
It is what it
I'm
is.
not gonna sit there and get all
You're
twisted.
saying the Cards will prevail.
Yes, 12-12.
And that's an unbiased opinion there, folks. That's an unbiased opinion. Let's keep it unbiased. Let's go take a look at the NFL for this.
Well, no. We got Loesch on the mound.
Yeah.
And the Atlanta pitcher, the name escapes me at the moment, is like
I haven't
has
looked at the
has like 23 straight wins. He's due for a loss. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, this guy's unbeatable. He's got 23 straight wins." Blah blah blah. The dude's due for a loss.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
There you have it. And it came right from Sidekick's mouth. So. Unbiased. Let's go look at unbiased NFL.
Well, come on.
You got to know here at the Frat House.
Wait.
When we talk football, it's going to be unbiased.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because you see me I picked against the Rams last week.
Sure.
So, and you picked them, and thank you, because every time
when you hear a few of my picks tonight, I think you're going to be surprised.
And every time you picked my Rams, they've won. So thank you for that.
Okay. And if we were picking that one, I would pick St. Louis tonight anyhow. Alrighty, let's go take a look at the first matchup we've got for this week, and that's the Atlanta Falcons 4-0, at the Washington Redskins, who are 2-2, and that game is at 1 o'clock on Sunday.
Yep.
Now, to me, Sidekick, this one is I'm a little bit surprised. 4-0 team in the Falcons, to be honest with you.
That's because you think Matty Ice is a fraud.
Exactly. Now, some people are going to come back, as you just did, and say, well, wait a minute, why would you say that, McShane? Because, Matt Ryan is having a career beginning of the year season. And he's currently rated as the #1 quarterback in QB rating.
Yep.
Last week, he led the team to a 30-28 victory over the Panthers. He was 25 of 40, 3 TDs, 1 interception, and 107.2 QB rating. However, he was sacked 7 times, so that would indicate to me that you can get to him.
Absolutely. Via Twitter, his Facebook page.
Nonetheless, he put up 428 total yards of offense coming from the Falcons. Now, over on the other side, the Redskins are coming off a similar 2-point win. They won 24-22 over the Buccaneers. Now, RG3, he did not have any TDs in that particular game this past weekend, but he did manage 102.4 QB rating by going 26 of 35. The difference in the game, really, in the Redskins game, was a very lucky fumble recovery by Pierre Garçon in the end zone in the first quarter. That really was the difference in the game. Currently, the Falcons are only a 3-point favorite. I think you're going to answer this question. I'm asking, are the Falcons for real? You're probably going to say yes, they are. Go ahead.
Well, this is actually going to be another interesting matchup for the Falcons. And the Redskins need to take note of what the Panthers did last week. Mm-hmm. Okay? People are drawing a lot of similarities to both RG3 and Cam Newton. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think it's going to be close again like it was last week, because I think you're going to see some of the same, strategies play out due to the similarities between Cam Newton and RG3. Ultimately, though, I think the Falcons get it done.
I think the Falcons one of these weeks are absolutely going to fall. I don't think it's going to be this week. I would take the Falcons and take the points. I think they beat the spread. Let's go take a look at our game 2, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 3-1, at the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are 1-2, and that's a 1 o'clock game on Sunday. And what we saw last week was a very different Eagles game plan last week, which helped the Eagles get to a 3-1 record as they beat the hated Giants last Sunday night, 19-17. And so far, here's what I think is really one of the most amazing stats. In the Eagles' 3 wins, their cumulative win total in points, 4 points. The previous 2 games, they won by 1 point, and this week they won by 2. So 4 total points is all they've actually won those 3 games by. 4, yes. All right. Nonetheless, last week, Michael Vick, big victory. He had no interceptions. Isn't that terrific? But he also had a near 100 QB rating. In fact, the Eagles had no turnovers at all. Different game plan, though, because we saw a heavy dose of Shady McCoy, running 23 times for 123 yards. Now, the Steelers are coming off of a bye week after losing by 3 points to the Raiders in week 3. And in that win, I got to tell you, Roethlisberger was absolutely phenomenal. Throwing for 4 TDs, going 36 of 49, and 123.2 QB rating. Downside is the Steelers do not have a ground game whatsoever. Now, my question is, and right now the Steelers are favored by 3.5. If the Eagles were to institute a game plan like last week, can they pull the upset?
Can they pull the upset? See, my pick for the game is the Steelers. And that they're getting Mendenhall back. And that I think it's going to be a tight game. But the Steelers they're coming off a bye week. They've had time to rest. Mm-hmm. They've had 2 weeks to game plan for the Eagles. Yep. I think it's going to be a narrow game, but I think the Steelers will pull it out in the end. Mm-hmm. And it's the Eagles Steelers.
There it is.
Battle of Pennsylvania. My bomb diggity bomb pick.
And you know something, Sidekick, I'm going to tell you right now, I couldn't agree with you more. I think the biggest factor involved in this is the fact that the Steelers are coming off of the bye week. I think that's going to benefit them tremendously. I, unbiasedly, am picking the Steelers. Don't want to, but I did. Let's go take a look.
Frowned upon in this establishment.
Let's go take a look at Game 3, and that's the Denver Broncos, who are 2-2, at the New England Patriots, who are 2-2, and that's the 4:30 game on Sunday. Now, I heard it mentioned this week. I think it might have been on like Mike and Mike or somebody like that. That it's very possible. I don't think it's likely, but it's possible that we might be looking at one of the last times that we could be seeing Manning versus Brady. Now, having said that, when you take a look at it, let's go take a look at what Peyton Manning did and company did last week, as they had their way with the Oakland Raiders last Sunday, 37-6. Manning went 30 of 38, 3 TDs, no interceptions, no sacks. 19 more carries for Willis McGahee and another 112 yards. So it was the McGahee-Manning show.
Still not as bad as that trouncing that the Jets got.
True enough. We're not even talking about that one. But we could talk about this one, and that's the Patriots-Bills game. What a fraud game that turned out to be.
Wow.
It was the tale of two games. Halftime, the Bills were winning that game, 14-7 actually. Second half, however, the Patriots put 45 points on the board to make the Bills look like frauds, the frauds that they are, beating them 52-28. And Brady had a rather similar Manning-type day, going 22 of 36, 3 TDs, no interceptions. This is one of those classic kind of matchups, Sidekick, that we haven't seen in a couple of years, really, when it comes right down to it.
Well, we haven't seen Peyton.
We haven't.
In a couple of years.
Patriots are
at least
favored.
Last year.
Patriots are favored by 6.5.
You know, this one really tugs at my unbiased, game picking. Mm-hmm. But due to the fact that I'm still maintaining the lead in the picks for the season, I've got to go with who I actually think is going to win, and I'm going to have to say it's Patriots. They're at home. If they were in Denver, I would go Broncos, but being in New England, I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Patriots have been starting out, in my opinion, I think they look a little sluggish and a little slow yet, still early in the season. I expect that to change. Peyton's been awful good. I'm picking Denver. Let's go over and take a look at our last matchup for this week, and that's the San Diego Chargers, 3-1, at the New Orleans Saints, who are 0-4, and that's the 8:30 game on Sunday. And some people might say, well, why in the world do you even have this on the list? And you're going to find out why in a moment. In an NFL analysis article that I wrote this past week for our website, actually, I listed the Chargers as one of my 4 most surprising teams, as I feel they have rather quietly put up a 3-1 record and currently lead the AFC West. Now, with due respect, I think the Chargers have benefited from a rather weak early season schedule. I really do. And couple that with the fact that, I'm not going to take anything away from it. Phil Rivers has looked much improved over a couple of the past seasons. But when we take a look at that week schedule, all you got to do is look to this past week, where they just disposed of the fraud KC Chiefs 37-20. Now, over on the other side, I can't believe that the Saints are actually 0-4, and I frankly don't think that they're as bad as their record indicates. And in fact, their past 2 losses have been by a total between the 2 games of 3 points. All right, just 3 points in their past 2 games. This week, another 1-point loss to the Packers, 28-27. The Saints have no running game whatsoever. Drew Brees put the ball in the air 54 times last week. All right. Nonetheless, I think many are anticipating the same thing that I am. I think they think that the Saints are not as bad as they are. That's why the Saints are a 3.5-point favorite over the Chargers. Are you making them a favorite?
You know, the Chargers have got the 3-1 record, as you said, quietly, but they're a little bipolar in their running game.
Yes.
With, you got Battle and Turner. Mm-hmm. Battle's the starting running back this week and last week. They sat Turner, almost the whole game. Mm-hmm. Kind of like a punishment for for his fumbleitis and that. So and then the Saints. I mean, who would think if you had said the preseason starting out 0-4. No one would have said anything, would have thought that. So I'm going to go with the Saints. I think they're going to finally get their win this week.
They're not 0-4. They should probably be 2-2. That's my personal opinion. I'm going with the Saints as well. The Saints are going to get off of it, and they're going to win their first one. Watch it. Okay. Now, before we jump off of football, let's go take a look at our Frat House Facebook post of the week. And it's a cute one this week, folks. Probably the cutest we've ever had. But it got us, and it got us the most hits last week, which is why it's up there. And that is a picture of Frat House Spike checking out his games last Sunday on one of the numerous technology toys that we have floating around here on Frat House Sunday football day. So there's our Facebook post of the week. Keep your comments and your posts coming.
Oh my goodness gracious!
We love them. Keep them coming. And you never know, you might get yours highlighted next week. All right? All right, let's close it out.
Yep.
A couple of things we got to do, though. As we always do, we got to make sure that you are getting over to fanjunkies.net and our buddy Jonathan's site. All right, join that social media site. It's a lot of fun. Also, you got to be checking out Fan Junkies Radio with Jonathan and I. We're on there 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, over on Blog Talk Radio.
Shut up and start talking.
That's what we do. We do a lot of that. And I got to tell you something. It's really gotten good. We've had some really, really spirited conversations, and it's been a lot of fun. And listen, you can call in live, all right? You can call in live to that show right as we're doing it and chew us out if you want, all right? Don't forget our newest venture, FratHouseSports.net. We put up a lot of new articles just this week. And so you got to get over to that. We cover everything, just like we do right here on the show, but a lot more in depth, actually. So get over, check those out. And hey, if you want to write for us, drop me a line. Might put you to work. I introduced you last week to the Sport Goonies, a Facebook page, a group page, a fun sports group page, a raucous, fun sports group page. Get over there, join that. That's so much fun. There's so many people from all over the place. It's just... And the crazy stuff you read on there, it's just...
I was in there mixing it up today.
Good for you. Absolutely. I mean, do it. You're going to bump into us everywhere. Wherever you go, you're going to bump into us. All right? All right. Lastly, one more thing they got to do. You know what it is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we know what it is. You got to keep us real. You got to keep us live. You got to keep us going. We'll see you next week.
The two have enough fuel to make it around this monster mile one more lap. Still pulling. They're going to play the strategy just right and get another win in 2012. Brad Keselowski wins at Dover.
Unreal. Hell yeah! Great job, guys! Hell yeah!
Not the first time we've seen this by Paul Wolf and Brad Keselowski and this Penske Racing team.
I don't think you've seen the last of it either.
I'm talking even the strategy play overall.
Yeah.
But their 5th win of the season.